Guys, if you have a question, please raise your hand and we will get going. James Crepia, go ahead.
Tim, just going back to the Stanford game for a minute, give the thought process on 2-minute and the personnel you went with there, not going with dime and going with just the thought process of why you stuck with 2 interior D linemen and 2 inside backers. And if you could do it again, would you stick with that? And just the thought process of whether or not to go to dime in that situation.
Well, in that situation, you want to go with your best guys. And, we feel pretty good about that Panther personnel package, whether we're getting rush, whether we have guys in coverage. Losing Bennett on Friday, hurt our dime. And so really, essentially, it was the same thing. You just have to make a decision on, what do you want to have in that situation package wise. And we were affecting the quarterback with some of our pressure in the second half in some of our looks. And, unfortunately, we didn't play tight enough coverage in that last drive.
Matt Preem?
Yeah, Tim, just your thoughts on replacing Bennett now with that injury and just kind of, he was having a pretty special year, and I guess Jamal's replacement there.
Yeah, no, I mean, Jamal's obviously played a lot of football. I thought we were in a really good situation from a depth standpoint, having both those guys, because I think they're both really good players. And Bennett was playing at the point where we were looking at more opportunities for Jamal to play more safety. With that injury, we're likely to put Jamal back to the star position and have Happel back him up there. And Hap's a guy that's played some ball, and he's been safety. So one of his best attributes is that he understands and can play multiple positions. And so he'll have to do that as well.
We'll go back to James.
Yeah, kind of following with that, Tim. It gets through 5 games. I realized because so many different guys went down at different points, how you feel you've been able to employ situational personnel, whether it's heavy on the D line or dime, or I don't know if you use rabbits or cheetahs or whatever, but the designated pass rush situation, how much you've been able to employ what you've looked to. Have you shown all there is, or is there a lot more that we just haven't seen? Because then it does go down and you only have Hap and you didn't have Damon, and, obviously Swinson and Ajax have been out and other things. So just have we seen all that there is from a situational standpoint?
No, clearly not. We've been a little bit limited, primarily due to injuries. And so you have to go with the guys that are available. And when you're playing younger guys, you're not as apt to put a lot of stuff in. You want them playing hard and fast and, playing effectively, and you put too much on their plate, they're going to slow down. So, they're getting better rapidly. We feel that this last week was really good for us to have our guys understand football more and be able to get some guys back from injury. So hopefully we'll be able to, have some more package stuff ready to go.
Jeff Ferrudo, Cal Sports Report.
Hey, Tim, Jeff Ferrado here. How you doing?
I'm good, Jeff. How you been?
I'm okay. Mario was on a couple minutes ago and he was talking about his impressions of Cameron Good, and obviously you know him real well. What have you seen from Cam this year, and then more generally, what have you seen from Cal's defense, which hasn't maybe been as good as it's been in recent years?
Well, I don't really study Cal's defense. We haven't had them a whole lot in our crossover, so I don't have a extensive look at them. Peeked a little last week just to see what they were doing, and Cam, it's no surprise. He's I think one of the better players in this league defensively. Very athletic guy, and really been impressed with the physicality of his play now that he's got some weight back. But I really can't comment on what they're doing defensively. I'm much more concerned about what they're doing offensively.
Sure. Can you take me back a year or so to when they made the coaching position change with you, and how disappointing was that? And do you imagine, did that prompt you looking elsewhere and winding up at Oregon?
My relationship with Coach Wilcox was very open. He was excellent communicating, on what his thoughts were, and I enjoyed working, there with him. Given that you don't always agree with decisions, and you as a coach, you're always open-minded, and I was very, very blessed and fortunate to get an opportunity here.
Great. Thanks, Tim.
We'll go to Luciano with Zoners.
Hey, Coach, I hope you're doing well. What would you say is the main aspect for your defense to improve upon up to this point, and how did you work on that during this bye week?
What was the main aspect that we need to work on? Was that the question? Well, there's a lot of things. We've got to get much more consistent in our run fits. I thought we made some progress there last week. We've got to get off the field on third down, and until you get guys on the field and actually doing it, it's hard because you're not running live pressures against scout teams. So, the big thing is getting our guys healthy. We've got some guys that can rush the passer when healthy, and we've got to get those guys back. And I think this last week has helped us there.
We'll take a couple more. David Bush.
Hi, Tim. Nice to see you.
Good to see you again, Dave.
Jeff covered a lot of the ground that I wanted to, but does this game have any impact to you, in more importance to you, considering the fact that you were here for so long and just so recently?
Well, I mean, there's personal feelings for the people there, the relationships I had with players, coaches, staff, still feel very well about them. But for 3.5 or 4 hours on Friday, it's a nameless, faceless opponent, and they're in our way at that point. So, that's how it is for me. Like I said, be fun to see the guys afterwards, but until then, it's just another game on the schedule.
Okay, thanks.
Back to Matt Preem.
Mario on Thursday said Swinson should be good to go for you guys. Just the significance of that, I guess, especially with KT having to sit that first half, and also the significance of getting Damon David back and just the flexibility of depth that he gives you.
Yeah. Braden, getting him back will be huge for us. As you mentioned, especially with KT having to sit the first half. He'd done some really good things, particularly in that Ohio State game when, KT wasn't ready to play those couple of weeks. And to lose both those guys, now you're down to, the next guy up. Obviously, your depth takes a hit. So getting him back, hopefully getting Mace back closer to full speed, where he had a week to heal up last week, getting Adrian Jackson and Jake Shipley back, as those guys have been dinged up. So all those guys, needed that rest, needed that time to get back. And we'll need them all because we're playing an excellent team that understands what we do defensively very well. And we know it's going to be quite a challenge.
Last question, James.
Tim, I was asking Mario about the in-season already discussions about targeting and not just in light of the last game, but there's been a lot of discussion about it. It's been going on some time about should there be a targeting 1 and 2, and it's not intent's not part of the rule, and how do you actually enforce intent and litigate all that? As a defensive coordinator, when you're charged with teaching the points of what to do and how to avoid it and all that, how would you like to see the targeting rule changed going forward? Because clearly that's been a hot topic and will be for the next several months.
Yeah. First of all, you got to go back to the reason they added the targeting rule for the protection of players. And I think that's always got to stay forefront in our minds. As we teach our guys to tackle, we've been teaching for years now, you have to lower the target. You have to lower. The issue comes when the offensive ball carrier lowers his helmet at the same time you're lowering. And those are difficult. And I think they're difficult to officiate. To me, I think that the penalty is so draconian that to throw a guy out of a game for something that is a bang bang play on those type of situations, I think is probably excessive. I would like to have some type of a situation where you see it targeting, right away, hey, that guy should be out of the game. And those are, to me, obvious. It's the ones that they're not called on the field, and you have to look at the replay and slow it down, go back and forth and say, oh yes, his helmet hit. I think that's a tough hurdle to be able to jump over to say he's out of a game for that. And hopefully they'll look at that. And again, I understand it's always about safety, and it's very difficult to officiate those. So until the rules change, I don't know, what our officials can do, and we'll just have to keep having our guys understand the significance of it. And obviously they do, and keep working on lowering their target and playing very, very safe.
All right, Coach, we're going to wrap up there. Thank you.
All right, guys. Thanks.
Guys, thanks for the time. We're going to end this now. Thank you.
Yep.